What's up, YouTube? It's my meat department. Today, gonna sharpen a knife. First of all, I want to tell everybody about this cut-resistant glove. Keeps your hand from getting cut, obviously. It's an expensive one. This one here is about $100, but nearly indestructible, lasts forever. Definitely gonna make sure you don't cut yourself. Use this on your non-cutting hand. Gotta get one. Wanted to mention that first. Second, the knife. A leather sheath. I got it off the internet. Don't remember how much I paid for it. The knife, I had a couple people tell me, well, what kind of knife was that? It's pretty sharp. It's just a basic 6-inch steak knife. It's made by Victorinox. It's actually dull. It's very dull. Right now it is anyway. So we're going to sharpen it, but I just wanted to mention a couple things to you before we get into sharpening, so you know what I use. As you know, it's important to have a sharp knife when cutting meat. Very important to have this safety device, the cut-resistant glove. They make the cloth ones. I'm not a fan of them because they hold a lot of bacteria. It's pretty difficult to keep them clean. This here is metal mesh. You've actually got the holes in between the mesh, so you can get it clean, and it's much more sanitary. The knife sharpening system. I've been in the business a while, and I am not good at sharpening knives. I can tell you that I've seen the rods that stand up at an angle. Most guys can use the stones, but wears a knife down pretty bad. This system here, it's by Lansky. It's the Lansky knife sharpening system. It's the best thing that I have found for me. You might find something else. You can use a stone. Whatever you want to use is fine, but I just wanted to show you what I use to sharpen my knife. I can tell you a couple things. One, it's easy. It's something that it doesn't take a whole lot of practice. You can do it right the first time. And it doesn't wear your knife out. That's the important part. So whatever you spend for a knife, it's not like you're going to have to dish out the money over and over again. I've had this knife since October. I've cut a lot of meat with it, and I don't know how well you can see. It's got some marks on it, but the blade itself is still pretty much intact. I have not wore it down. So, again, Lansky knife sharpening system. What you got, this didn't come with it. That was separate. That was a separate buy. This is 5 stones. It comes with, if I can get it out of here, this is the extra coarse stone. I can tell you that I've never used this one. If you've got a knife that's really hacked up, and I've seen some in the store that guys use and they don't do anything with them as often as they should, and you've got gouges in the blade, turn it to the side, you can see where it's all bent and out of alignment. That's probably what you're going to use that for. Next is the 120 course. This one I do use. This one here is probably the one that I'm going to use the most, just to get that edge back. And then next in line, I'm going to hit it with the medium, and finish it off with the 600 fine. It also comes with the ultra fine, but I don't use that often. It doesn't really feel like it does a whole lot to the blade itself. It's so fine that it's I just don't use it. So these 3 in the middle here are the ones I use the most to get the edge on this knife. Comes with the 5 different rods, obviously 1 for each stone. Comes with a bottle of oil. I've used this system now, probably had it for about 8 months, 9 months, and it's just a drop at a time. So that little bottle, it's only 1 ounce, it's going to last you a while. And this here is the holder for the knife itself. I'll show you how to use that in just a second. On the back of it, these are your angles, your different angles, 30, 25, 20, 17. The angle that you're going to use in your knife is basically just dependent upon what you're cutting. I can tell you that I use the 25. Cutting a lot of meat, that angle is the one that I put on this knife, and it lasts for me for quite some time. I normally don't have to use this system, but maybe once a month, once every 6 weeks. What a lot of people don't realize is once you get a good edge on a knife, what you're really doing as you're using that edge is your knife, when sharp, is straight up and down. As you use the knife itself, it kind of curls on you one way or the other. So what you should use is a steel. I don't have a steel with me, but there's something called a metal steel, there's a diamond steel, and that's just basically going to straighten that edge. You kind of roll it over a little bit, you want to straighten it back out again. Using these stones, it'll straighten your edge, but it's not going to bring it back. All you're really doing is putting extra wear on the blade itself. So again, stones to put the edge on, a steel to bring it back as you're cutting, and you just kind of bend it off to the side. There's a whole science behind it, but nonetheless, I just wanted to kind of take a minute and show you what I use to sharpen my knife to keep a good edge on it. Alright, this system here is going for about $32 on Amazon. I just looked it up a minute ago. This here, what this basically is just a stand. It just makes it easier for you. I think this was, I don't remember how much it was, to be honest with you. It wasn't much, maybe $5-6. But I highly recommend it, because without it, you're having to put your knife in here and hold it. And some guys might feel more comfortable with it. I can tell you that I much prefer setting it in here and then sharpening it that way. What I'll do is I'll pull my stones out. Again, I use the coarse, the medium, and the fine. And I'll get a rod for each one. A little difficult to get these out. And the way you do this is just set the rod up. There's a hole at the end of the stone itself, and then just tighten this. And you want to make sure that the rod is nice and flat. Same thing for each one. Flat and straight. This one doesn't want to cooperate. I think that was good. Perfect. Just get those set up. And you want to take your knife. There's a, this is more like a fine tension knob. This one here itself is the one that's going to hold the knife nice and firm. They actually recommend a dime or a penny in the instructions. So with a dime or penny, just loosen it up. And I normally go near about center. Gotta go a little more. Right about here. You don't want to go too far, because what happens is your stones at the particular angle that I use come down and will hit the edge of this brace. So you want to keep it back just far enough so you get that right angle on there. Use your penny. And you want to get it tight, because with the force you use with the rods, you don't use a whole lot, but it's enough that it can bend it one way or the other. So, and you'll see as I sharpen, you know what, I think a dime is better, a little thinner. Alright, and then just tighten that down in place. As you can see, your knife is set up. Alright, and the weight of this knife is kind of cocking it over to one side, so get that oil out. You'll see why you don't need a whole lot of oil. And actually, before I go into oiling these, I noticed as I pulled this one out, it's got a little bit of dirt. That's from the knife itself. You'll find pieces of metal on there. If you put just a couple of drops of oil, see how it just cleans it up? I use my shirt. You can wipe it clean. Alright, put that one back for now. But all your stones, you can do the same way. Again, we use the coarse one first. You just need just enough to coat the stone. And actually, that's too much. Let's put some of that on this one. Right, just enough to coat it. And you'll see when it's too much because it'll build up on the blade. Remember I said I'm using 25. That's second from the top. Just slide it in there. And you're going to make nice even strokes. You can hear this coarse stone. See how that oil's building up? Put just a little too much oil on there. Alright, we're going to make a couple runs on each side. Alright, I lied. We're going to make 3 runs. Once you do this for the first time, again, you'll be able to feel when you get that edge on that knife. What's critical about sharpening a knife is whatever you do to one side, you got to do the same thing to the other. So if I go 3 times on the other side, I'm going to do 3 times on this side. Not too much pressure. It's great. Alright, it's been a little while since I've sharpened this, so I'm actually going to go ahead and hit it one more time on both sides. Feels pretty rough. That feels smoother. Let's turn it back over and I'll just do it twice like I did that side on this one. Make sure you get the same angle each time, using the same hole each time. Alright. Next is my medium stone. Just about a drop or 2 of oil. Just spread it out. Right, this one's got some build up on it. Let's get that off there. What happens when you get the build up, you don't get a nice smooth feel with that stone. See that? I don't think I cleaned them last time. So let's clean them good this time so I get good use out of it. Good use for a shirt. Couple drops. Spread it out. Yeah, that's better. Back in that 25-degree hole. Start at the back, go towards the front. And the reason I'm going against the blade as opposed to going down is I'm pushing that metal to get that edge. do the same thing on the other side. Just because I have the time, I want a good sharp edge, I hit it again. Just twice. Alright, same process. This is going to be your fine stone. I've already got oil on that, but I've got some buildup on it I need to get off. If you've ever handled a new knife, you know the feel of that crisp, sharp blade. Well, that's what I'm getting at by using these stones. When I first used that coarse stone, it felt pretty rough. As I continue to use these stones, even with this fine stone, I'm getting that real sharp edge. Twice on that side. I know it's probably boring watching somebody sharpen a knife, but this is the most important tool to be a good meat cutter. Again, you hear a lot of people talk about how it's the dull knife that'll cut somebody, and what they're referring to is when you have a dull knife, you got to work that much harder. Working that much harder, that much more force, that's where you're going to wind up cutting yourself. Anyway, you get the idea. Lansky Sharpening System, sharp knife. Of course, the cut-resistant glove. It's critical to being a good meat cutter. Many years in the business. This is a system that I found that does a great job. Keeps that edge on my knife and keeps me in business. So, highly recommended. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe. I'm going to try to put a video out about every week if I can. So, coming up next after this, I'm going to do the flat iron steak. A lot of misconception out there about what it is. So, alright, this is my meat department. We'll see you next time.